Hey, it's Les from the TV Dudes. This week, we're releasing part 2 of my interview with the creators and stars of TV Land's comedy series Nobodies. The series is about a set of comedian friends trying to get their career started, with the creators playing fictionalized versions of themselves. I spoke with Larry Dorf about the show, his path to comedy, and much more. Hope you enjoy.
I'll go in your guys' bedroom and take the call. Hi, this is Larry Dorf.
Hey, Larry, it's Les.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing great. I really appreciate you taking time to do the interview today.
Yeah, of course.
So Rachel's already answered all the good questions, unfortunately.
Okay, I'll get the
so
leftovers.
We're down to just the oddball stuff. No, how did you first get hooked up with the Groundlings?
Yeah, I never, I always wanted to be an actor, but I never had the balls to do it. And I went to University of Arizona, and I chose that school because it was a big school. Not a lot of people from my high school went there, and I was going to have I would have my friends, and then I would make friends, but then I wouldn't tell them about my secret that I wanted to be an actor. And I would then have a secret life where I could, meet actor people and, try to act, but never tell people close to me about the secret that I had. And then, so I get a little of acting there. Then finally, it's like my big coming out of the closet was, telling my parents that I wanted to be an actor and my friends. And of course, it wasn't a big deal. Nobody cared. And then I moved here and to LA, and I took an acting class, and I'd never done improv before. I'd never knew about Groundlings. And one day in class, just to kind of kill extra time, I think the teacher ran out of stuff to teach. We did improv, and I really liked it. And someone said, "Oh, you should audition at the Groundlings," and I had no idea what that was. And then I just auditioned, not knowing what I was getting into. I remember at that time, because you walk in and there's pictures of the current cast, the main company people, and Will Ferrell. I saw Will Ferrell's picture, and Lisa Kudrow, and Sherry O'Terry, and I was like, oh shit, this is something. And then I went and saw a show, and I just kind of fell in love with it. And that's my story of how I got into the Groundlings. Yeah.
Something I'd also asked Rachel, in fictionalizing yourself on the show, what's it like getting back feedback on deciding which aspects to push and which parts of your personality to pull back or to exaggerate? How do you choose what to fictionalize?
That's interesting. It's like, I think the way we wrote me is a little, maybe more weaselly than I really am. But they're saying no. But I think I think I'm the kind of person that's interesting. Maybe I am that, but I don't. They're just saying no to everything I'm saying. I don't show. I'm a really shy person, and so when I first meet someone, I think I'm I don't come across as interesting at all because I don't talk. So I think I didn't really show that part of me. So I don't really know how you do that and have it be interesting at all. But I think we just kind of focused on that sort of guy that's trying to do the best he can, but he goes about it in nefarious ways. And that just seemed like a funny version of myself to play. And then, a lot of times people will be like, is that true? Are you really like that? You're terrible. You're so terrible. And, like last week, it's funny because like when the show first started, like right when the show would end, I'd get a call from my parents who'd be like, oh, that was so amazing. It was so great. And then now I think they've just gotten used to it. So like maybe a couple days later, I'll have to ask them, did you see the show? And then, you know, they'll be like, oh yeah, it was good. You know, you do a lot of lying. You lie a lot. And I'm like, well, it is a show. It's a comedy. So I don't know what to tell you.
What's the craziest twist you've seen in real life as far as oddball? So many crazy things happen in the course of y'all trying to get these shows going. I think the episode I just watched, you've basically Open Dorf is over and it's Robin the Hood now.
Right.
Has there been anything you've seen in Hollywood that you've gone, oh, no one would believe that?
Well, I think what we do in this season, I think is sort of I've had one experience with like a real network sitcom, and that was a show that I wrote with Ben Falcone that was based on my life. That was in 2012. And I always thought it's very much like this season of Nobodies. I always thought, well, shit, it's based on me. It's the character's name is Larry Dorf. I'll be able to play that. And of course, you know, it was for CBS, and they were like, no, you won't be able to play that. And then Bridesmaids had just come out, so they said, Ben, you can play that. So Ben, you know, I lost that. I wasn't able to play myself. They changed the name of me to David so that Ben can play it. I remember his agent was like, you know, just for clarity, maybe we don't make it Larry Dorf. Maybe we make the guy's name David so no one gets confused. And so Ben played me. And then, you know, it was my first show. So we had a showrunner come in, and we had all these people who had punched up on other real network shows before. And the show that we wrote that was very specific. The characters were very specific. It was me. It was my mom, my dad, my sister. So it was all based on real people. I just thought go through the network system of just joke. Kind of any character could say anything, and it lost all its specificity, and it just wasn't very good. And that's sort of what so it is kind of this season in Nobodies is sort of based in real life, and how it all just keeps getting changed from an idea that was probably good, and then it just goes through the system.
It makes me think about Larry David talking about trying to step in as Costanza, and everybody going, nah, I don't see it.
Yeah, and it's like, but
with him just screaming, but it's based on.
Yeah, exactly.
Was it odd transitioning from writing for Looney Tunes, writing for Mike Tyson Mysteries animation, and the difference in production pace and you know, scope of what you can do to writing for yourself?
You know, I don't really think it was. You know, me, Hugh, and Rachel are such a not to toot our own horn, but we're a really good team. And in two ways, we're a really good writing team, and then we're also really good at supporting each other. So, and making each other feel safe. So, you know, like writing, our schedule on Looney Tunes and Tyson was sort of breakneck for a while. And then going into this, it was into Nobodies. The pace of writing wasn't, we were always able to keep up with it. You know, people would say, you know, Mike McDonald, our showrunner, would say, you guys are going to get in the weeds here. You know, we're going to get into, you know, the writing season, and, you know, one's going to be getting notes and punching up one script while the next one's breaking the next story. And it's like, well, no, we work fastest when we actually all work together. And then going into acting, you know, we all really, it's like when we were all together, we would feel comfortable, like we would trust each other. You know, we would do a scene and be like, was that good? Is that the way I should be playing it? And we're all able to be honest with each other for the most part. And, you know, we trust that, like, oh, okay, I'm feeling insecure, but Rachel just said, no, that was great. So I trust it. Yeah.
Working with a couple on fictionalized versions of yourselves, do you ever find yourself having to, like, pass an awkward note back and forth?
Yeah, I mean, you know, sometimes, yeah, you do have to. I mean, sometimes you're giving notes that are not. This is great, and you're doing such a great job. Sometimes the person's in their head, and you have to kind of figure out how to guide them back to. Oh, remember when we were writing it, and you were kind of doing it this way, and it's like, oh yeah, okay.
Do you find your shared history on stage and having written it together, do you find all that helps get you through those awkward stages?
I do, yeah. Now we've kind of been through a lot together. There is that trust. So, sometimes it is an awkward thing. And, sometimes they'll be giving me a note and I'll be so in my head that I won't get it. And then I'll just get mad. But if you're able to kind of settle down, you can kind of find, oh, I get it. I see what they're saying. Because when we're writing, we kind of say our lines while we're writing our lines. So it's like we know, oh, that made us laugh, so let's write that. And then it's like, well, you did it, and you did it at the table read. So you do know how to deliver this line or how to play this scene. It's because you wrote it.
Yeah, I had kind of wondered watching the show and knowing that you have a shared improv history together, but that you also write the show, whether there would be a lot of improv on set or whether, ironically, there wouldn't be because you had all written it. Do you find yourself changing your own lines?
Sometimes you'll be in the space on the set, and it'll be like, well, this is not kind of how we pictured it when we were writing it. So, let's change it. Or you'll just discover new things. We always try to get the scene, get the script, shoot that. And then we do some improv. But what we kind of don't like is just shopping for just alt jokes just for the sake of alt jokes. It's like, well, let's trust what we wrote. And just because the crew isn't laughing right now, that doesn't quite mean anything. And just because we said a new joke and the crew is laughing, that doesn't mean that's good either. It could be they just heard that first thing 10 times. So we don't really, like the punch-up police, we don't really like that. That's not really our brand. We're not really joke-driven, I guess.
Have there been any times on set where you guys just broke each other, just couldn't keep it together? Yes.
Yeah, there has been. I mean, I remember the person that broke me the most was Bruce McCullough, where I could not stop laughing. I remember just feeling like, I was just slap happy. I could, everything he was doing was making me I couldn't stop. He wasn't even trying to be funny, and I was just laughing.
Yeah, I grew up on Kids in the Hall. I think I would be weird around him.
Yeah, and even doing I remember in season 1 we were doing a scene with Kristen Wiig, and she's in my face, and and I've known Kristen forever, but I knew her before she was famous. Now she's Kristen Wiig, now she's famous, and I remember she's an inch away from my face and keeps saying my name, Larry Dorf, and it was, saying that she hates Larry Dorf. But I remember thinking, oh my God, Kristen Wiig is saying my name. I was oddly starstruck by her. This is so weird. Because I guess I hadn't seen her for a while.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Man, thank you so much for taking time to talk to me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, you got it.
Enjoying what I've gotten to see of the show so far. Do you know if you guys have gotten picked up for season 3 and which network?
I don't know. We have not heard anything yet. So if you hear, now you have Rachel's number.
You will be the first to know. I will call you.
We're usually the last to hear about anything.
Well, that'll fit right into a plot line.
Yeah, exactly. Do you want me to hand the phone off to the third nobody?
Sure.
The biggest nobody of all. Cue Davis.
The TV Dudes is an independently run podcast and a member of the Electric Sweater Podcast Network. We are exclusively listener-supported. If you'd like to help us out, go to patreon.com/tvdudes. You can like us on Facebook and Twitter @TVDudes. All the music for our show is by our friend and original TV dude, Gregory J. Amani Smith. To find out more about us, go to thetvdudes.com and electricsweater.com. I'm Grant Davis. Thanks for listening.